Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GateCrashers. I am Vinny. As always, I am joined by Angela and Kim, and we are here to talk all about the newest soap opera on the block, Beyond the Gates. Kim, how was your week?
Week's been well. Today was kind of a crazy day for a Monday, but so far things have been pretty good. I was really excited to see today it was announced that we got a renewal for the soap we're
Yep,
about to discuss. So that that was one bright spot out of a crazy day. We get to see more craziness from our Beyond the Gates folks. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for that.
absolutely. And Chad welcomes you as well and says, "Hi, Kim. Nice to see you again."
Hi,
Um,
Chad.
and Angela, we caught up. You just had an hour and a half of us on Suds News. But folks, big congratulations to the cast and crew of Beyond the Gates. As Kim mentioned, they did get renewed for a second season or second year, I should say. Because originally they were only contracted for the first 50 episodes. Is that correct?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Um, but either way, they are now signed. It's signed, sealed, delivered, and they're for good. Well, at least for the next year. Um,
Yeah.
but either way, congratulations. And it's not every day that the head of the studio flies in to announce that they've been renewed for another year.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That is pretty
the
cool.
head of CBS flew to Atlanta to make the announcement to the cast and crew.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's awesome.
I do. I do.
So congratulations to them. And I gotta say, before we get into any of the actual news, because again, it was a short week. There were only 3 episodes last week. This week we're back to a full week, and this Thursday, I was wrong last week, but I believe this Thursday is going to be the new Ted. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
so, um, did you guys happen to see Mike Manning's posts on Twix this past week? Somebody, I guess, tweeted out that he should put out pictures and post looking like a wrestler and I guess he did. He kind of put his heart monitors up like tassels and posed like I don't like that. I'm sorry, but somebody that built should not be named Smitty. I'm sorry. I,
True.
you
Did you
know,
see the
I still maintain it would be funny if they just started calling him what's the name? His actual name is Bradley, right? It would be funny if
yeah.
they just midstream just started calling him that. No, just
Yeah.
oh hey Brad, hey Bradley, what's going on? And just switched it. No rhyme or reason to it. I'd appreciate it.
I was a big fan of those pictures also because he was in gray sweatpants, which I'm a big fan of.
Um,
Leave it at
but
that.
it's actually going to be pretty cool to see him at the next Samantha's Friends event,
Mhm.
which is taking place in September,
Mhm.
September 13th and the 14th. I will be at both events, so I will be able to talk to him not only about soap, but now that I know he's a wrestling fan,
Yeah,
I
you're
will
just
talk
gonna
to him
be
about
hanging with
that.
him all night. Let's be
I
real.
know. He said like security guys. But I love you, Smitty.
Yeah, but between Beyond the Gates and his appearances on, he's been on Days now with the wrestling, with the, he's got a, in the Bay as well. He's just got a
Yeah,
hand in everything. It's great. And,
Mhm.
and
but
he's on Montecito too, so he's a busy guy.
definitely,
And it
definitely.
was funny because in our the Zoom I had this weekend, I was showing off, the gray sweatpant pictures to everybody. And a few of the ladies were like, but he looks so young. I feel bad. And I was like, he's 38, guys. And they're like,
Oh
oh,
my gosh.
okay.
I would have thought
Right?
younger for sure. I absolutely would have
No,
thought younger for sure.
no,
Wow.
Wow.
38.
Aging gracefully.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a way to put it.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I was it's with even with the short week though, we did get some of the Smitty scenes, some the Martin Smitty stuff, we with all the fallout with everything. It was nice to see that aspect of the relationship kind of teased out a little bit more, but I want more of that. It's like we need more of just Martin and Smitty just kind of, to really sell the, just not to sell it, but just to kind of make us feel a little bit more invested, like
Yeah.
little moments like that really just kind of dig in and solidify them as a couple. More so, not to dismiss the scenes that they have with the kids, but you kind of need that, just I'm here for you, and because we know that Martin's secret's going to be coming out sooner rather than later, and I want to see like that get explored, but I want to see like that their relationship really kind of come into focus more when that whole fallout comes into
I
play.
want to see. I want to see what happens when Danny and Nicole and everybody kind of sees how intertwined Bill is with all of the Dupree secrets,
Oh yeah, oh
because
yeah,
we already know that he paid Leslie to leave town. That's nothing we'll have to get into, but we know that he paid Leslie to leave town and supposedly get an abortion. We know that, he's protected Martin from whatever the secret is,
yep,
whether it was a murder or a beatdown or something to that effect, or drunken rage. Um, but he really holds all the secrets. He's the puppet master of the Duprees.
definitely. And it's just it's like we know, so it's just getting teased out, which I appreciate, but it's just like god damn, I really want to know what the secret is now. Like come on, I know that's the whole point, and they're trying to keep us watching, but like especially knowing, because like with Bill, the whole Leslie, I mean obviously we know that like he was brokering things, but even like the baby on the black market kind of thing that he was like potentially, it's like you could see him having a hand in all sorts of stuff, you know
Yes.
and it's just it's interesting, and I'm curious to see how it's all gonna shake out with him, because yeah, I just nothing against, but I kind of want to see him not just like lovey-dovey mode with Haley. I want to see him in kind of like big boss mode, just kind of like going toe to toe against. I want to see, because I don't know, the Bill and Haley scenes lately have just been kind of, I don't know. Haley's been kind of just rubbing me the wrong way a little bit. The relationship is just kind of it. I don't know. I need to see something more developed there than Haley just saying like, I just kind of want to be involved and pick me and all. It's just, I don't know. Bill is like, he's such a big focal
I,
component. I just
I
want to see him more outside
I
of that
think
orbit.
Haley is just a little bit insecure, because Bill is involved in so much in the Duprees where she probably feels that he's so close that Danny's going to have him back at some point, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah,
I think at some point
sadly.
for sure. That's definitely on the table. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
just kind of, it just gets a little sometimes tedious with the two of them. I just feel like they're a little bit repetitive, and I just want to kind of see them outside of like those sort of. I mean,
Right.
heck, people were speculating, and I don't know how, but Haley having a connection with June, the homeless woman, or the woman that is just. And if you look based off of resemblance, holy cow, there could definitely be something there.
Is
I
that
just
Haley's mom?
could be, I just
Speculation has
wonder.
it.
Yeah, I just wonder, because Haley's another character that I just kind of want to see her like, okay, break. I want to see you in a different orbit. I want to see you around other folks. So if
Right.
that's the case, that could be an interesting twist down the road, I think.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think that's a lot. And, um, you know, and you think about it, Haley, Haley knows clearly that Bill is prone to cheat on his significant
Yep.
others, as that's how they got together. And you know the saying, once a
Yeah,
cheater, always a
yeah,
cheater,
right.
and
Get him.
right. So she's probably looking over her shoulder, been like, because Haley is the prize, the forbidden fruit. And now that Bill
Right.
has her and they're married, well, that may lose the thrill for him. So, you
Okay.
know, he may go move on to more, another lady to hunt, so to speak. Um,
Yeah.
but either way, it's making for good story, and I
Yes.
love that. I even love the scenes. Kind of going back a bit was with Bill and Haley just kind of sitting on the couch, talking about everything going on.
Yeah.
It's almost like, remember when on General Hospital when Brad and Britt were sitting watching the nurses' ball and they were making comments about everything. It was just really like that. They were kind of giving their 2 cents in on everything going on in town. I enjoyed those scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess like the commentary and stuff here and there, but sometimes I don't know. I just feel like they just kind of get trapped in the whole like, oh well, the town's got. I don't know. Out of all the relationships that are playing out on screen, that one's probably just one kind of the least dynamic for me at this point. It's like I just want to kind of see those other characters get fleshed out a little bit more into other sort of aspects. Because I don't know. There's so many other relationships that we've seen like in action ever since the big Fallout reveal, and my gosh, it was just so many compelling things, and I was just kind of like, yeah, Bill and Haley are a little bit lower on that spectrum for me in terms of like who I want to see be interacting, because like I don't know, we've gotten some really heck, even like the interaction in today's episode when we had Anita and Danny go and confront Theodore. I love how she was calling him Theodore every 5 seconds. But like, just like them, just like all the fallout of this has just been so soapy and so fun to watch. And you just see like all like these, incredible acting that's come of it and all these amazing scenes as a result. I mean, and they're milking it for all it's worth, and it's great. It's just, like that, because it was such a big, plot point. So we've really seen some awesome stuff as a result.
Oh
yeah.
I'm sorry I keep yawning, guys. I'm not bored. My allergies are kicking my butt, and my allergy medication is also kicking my butt.
Oh,
join the club, friends. I'm in the same boat.
Trust me. It's quarter after 10 on. Yeah, it's 10:15 on the East Coast, and I'm drinking coffee because I've been up since 3:00 this morning. So
yes, See what we do for you guys. We love you. We do it all for you.
Yeah. But you know what? It's also because we love the soaps, and we love we love to bring you our opinions. I mean, our opinions don't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but at least we can entertain you and bring you some, some good commentary about the shows.
Now I have a question, guys, because I'm a little behind.
Okay.
Have we seen June yet?
We've seen June. Yeah, she's been.
Would we say? Would we get?
I would say she's got to be in her maybe 40s. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe mid to late 40s.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, she's been on there for almost a month now. Because she was the homeless woman that Jacob and Naomi have been helping.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
So.
And then,
because I think we're going to be seeing Anita's old band. So I was like, oh, is it possible she was one of them? But if she's that young, then no.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that
I'm terrible at judging ages, though. I don't know if they're trying to be. I think, Anita would be tough to kind of put her in that, demographic. But, I mean, I don't know. There could be a connection. I am excited to see the bandmate connection and how that's all going to, that's because I love that storyline in general, and just seeing that kind of get teased out. I mean, like, ooh, there's some drama with Anita and what happened back then and all, I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, that's going to be great because
Leslie had Ava in the same place that those old bandmates are, I think, right? In Chicago, I think.
Right, Chicago, yeah.
Yep.
So they're definitely, raising the potential for some connection there. So
now, there seems to be some debate. Is her real name Leslie, or is it Dana, or is it Sherry? I think Sherry's just.
What was Nicole's line? Like, how many names do you have?
Right. I mean,
like,
we
that's
don't
kind
know.
of where I'm at with her. Yeah.
I mean, they have.
All we know is like.
Right.
It's funny though. It's like with her, even. I can't tell sometimes if like she's hallucinating Ted or if Ted is actually there. I love how like he first shows up and we aren't necessarily sure. Is he actually there, or are you just like making him up in your? Because she is definitely full blown just
Oh,
and but playing. Kudos to I'm blanking on the actress's name. But holy cow, she's bringing it.
for for Leslie,
Yeah,
Trisha Mann Grant.
thank you,
mhm.
thank you. Yeah, no,
Um,
she's fantastic. I mean, but the scenes, the scenes with her and Ava, like,
yeah.
just give those actresses Emmys now, please. Like when they were going up against each other and just holy, just
I know.
such incredible scenes. I mean, your heart breaks for Eva, even though you know that like she's culpable in this too. It was
Hmm.
just like when she like snapped back at her and clapped back, it just was like no, like it was just oh so Sophie, such good work.
Oh
Just
yeah.
great scenes there. And now we see this whole Ava starting to kind of trying to find her way, trying to find her footing, and then just getting
I
like cut down at
I
every
feel so
turn
bad.
now.
I feel
Oh,
so bad for Ava,
so do
um,
I.
or
So do
Eva.
I.
I just, you know, she's granted. She came in. She's one of those characters that came in with a bad, bad motivation and wanting to do something, but over time, you saw the shift. She
Oh yeah.
finally found out about her, you know,
Hmm.
and I'm sorry, but I feel like there are so many people being too hard on her, and they should be, putting that blame specifically on
Mhm.
Leslie, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of her, you know,
Because Leslie has been manipulating her from the jump into saying that
exactly.
your father never wanted you, filling her head with all of this. And, it was kind of the scenes today with when Danny and Anita, bring her over to the
Yes.
table. And, you kind of think, maybe they kind of can see. And then she just sort of, you will never be a Dupree. And I'm just like, oh, she got hit, cut down yet again. And I understand it. I understand where they're coming from, especially like, you've hurt my daughter, you hurt Nicole, that's it, you're out, you're done, forget it. But at the same time, you can't help but feel for Eva because it's just like you just in that situation, she's totally and between that and Ted, at least Ted is trying. He's like, I'm gonna set her up with an apartment. I'm gonna, it's the least you could do, all things considered, man.
I mean, I think Ava's like the biggest victim. She didn't actually do anything to them.
Right.
No, she was just
She didn't.
born and then raised
She
by a
just
crazy
didn't
woman
tell
who was
them who
filling
she
her head with
was. But
Yeah.
right,
she tried to stop Leslie from doing anything.
right,
Exactly.
Leslie's the one who hurt Laura, and she had nothing to do with it and didn't
Yep.
know
yeah.
that it was happening. Yeah, I mean,
And watch
Ava hasn't even
Leslie
actually
trying to.
done anything.
Yeah.
But I could totally see it where someone speculated on Twitter, and I totally could see this playing out where Leslie's gonna like pin something's gonna come out about like the accident with Laura. And you bet your butt
Yeah.
that like Leslie's gonna do something to try and pin it. Because at this point, it's like, okay, yeah,
I thought I saw that on one of the previews that Leslie did tell somebody that it was
yeah.
Eva,
If
running over that,
if it
and
is
I
the
and
case,
I
I could totally see it playing out because it's clear at this point. It's like, okay, Leslie, you're like, who was calling her out, like saying like, for your daughter, the way that you've been acting and treating her. I mean, they're just setting it up for, her
no,
not being her biological child because you would not be doing this,
and
like, pulling all these
and Chad,
stunts.
don't ever be sorry. Don't ever be sorry about commenting. We want you to, join in the
Oh
chat and
yeah,
everything.
Mhm.
yeah,
And everybody who's watching, join in the chat. Send over your comments. React to the comments as well. Um, but I agree because I have a feeling it's either going to be that Kat and Ava are twins and Leslie stole her, or they were switched at birth.
yeah. And
Right.
they were hinting at the
But
whole
either way, Ava
even
will be Nicole's.
yeah,
I
with
think
the
so.
whole connection thing. Oh, like Martin raised it today. He's just like, oh yeah, because maybe she picked up on it because like sister connection and all of that. It's like, well, dude, technically you're her half brother. So like,
Yeah,
what? There's no connection there with you.
right, exactly. Um,
Yeah,
but
and I do appreciate even the Martin and Cat scenes. Like I just, you kind of almost forget that they're siblings, like on the great until they're interacting, and then it's just like, but they sell it so they were cute today. I
I
liked
think
their
Martin is just
sibling
so wrapped
interaction.
up in his in himself
Yeah,
and his own stuff.
yeah.
You
I
know,
like it when they kind of have him interacting though with like, I mean, when he confronted Ted, and when he's, interacting with Kat, and when he's in that sort of, I like seeing
okay,
that side of him.
so hear me out. Here, I've never, not that I know of, I've never been a child of, like my, even though my parents got divorced, I don't believe that my dad cheated on my mother. But whether or not that happened or not, I don't know. I was never privy to that information. Am I the only one that kind of sees where the kids are being a little too harsh on their fathers? Like, I understand they hurt, you know, the Ted hurt Nicole because he cheated on her, but it's like it's still your father. Am I being a little too unreasonable there, or I
Yes.
don't understand that.
Yes, you are. As somebody who's, I mean, yes, he was my stepfather, but still, yeah, you are absolutely being unreasonable. Kids are going to be protective, and they'll do the same thing the other way as well. I mean, as far as Naomi goes, she has
I get that.
double. I mean, totally double.
Yeah.
Because of the whole friend aspect. But oh yeah, I mean, you're doing this, and I mean, and honestly, I mean, it is cheating, but it's a betrayal of the whole family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I
You
view it as
know?
well. Just, because I mean, Kat said it best, she was just like, I had this, image, and granted, people are people, but it's just like, especially, even with Martin too, because Martin, saying how, I respected, I looked up at you, I admired you. You named me after Martin Luther King, but I admired you. I looked at you as a role, and now look at it like this. Like, yes, nobody is perfect, but if you've got this idealized version, and then you just have that all come crashing down, of course you're going
Right.
to be, just, as far as I'm concerned, the kids have every right. And Naomi, though, for sure, of anyone to have still a grudge, I
Yeah.
wish that they had maintained it with her. Had
Yeah.
Chelsea maybe be the one that kind of is more not
Right.
forgiven, but just kind of more, because not only was it, her dad cheating on her mother with the best friend, like, there is no reason in the world. If I was Naomi, I would, like, change the locks and not even want to see him
Oh,
in my house.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I just felt like that, was a little bit, she was a little too quick to kind of just let
Yeah.
things. I almost wish that had been reversed and it was Chelsea instead, just because I could see it playing out that way a little bit more realistically.
And also, aside from the hurting the mother thing, it is also the you are not who I thought you were.
Yes.
And this is the person who has told you, who, has probably taught you
Right.
not to, to keep your word,
Right.
to get it,
Right.
and that's a betrayal of all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have it even with, like, Martin remembering, like, going to the diner and being
And I get that.
around this
Yes.
woman, which is just like, that's another level of just like, oh
Right.
boy, like the little
Yeah.
brownie man stuff. Like, come on, like, ooh,
Mhm.
that's crossing too many. But it's kind of killing me a little bit, because we're seeing all these scenes with. I'm just, obviously, we don't know the reason by the recasting, everything like that, but it's just knowing that we're in this pivotal point with Ted, and we're going to be seeing his new face in like a couple of days. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of, because we're seeing like all this. It's just, it's kind of, it's going to be a little tough to swallow, just because we're in the middle of such a pivotal moment for this character. But we'll have to see how it shakes
Yeah.
out. We have no control over it.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, either way, it's you know, it's great story, and
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
that's all there is to it. It's a great story.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's. I have to give prop to the actress that plays Mona. Like, she's
Oh
obviously
my
a part
goodness.
time
Yes, I
player.
was
She's
gonna
a
say
bit
that too.
player, and she brought it over the past couple
She
of
is
episodes.
giving, like, almost like Anita energy, where it is very just, she says it is totally like on point. She's like, just, she doesn't like go overly dramatic, but she just tells it like it is, says it plainly, and just uh her scenes today were amazing.
Yeah,
Just
Mhm.
her, just, give me the key, and like, just like, putting her hand on, and as much as I love Ava, Ava did need to hear, I appreciated where Mona was coming from in that scene, and Mona was right,
Yeah.
like, and just that when she puts her hand on her and she's just like, good,
Yeah.
just like straight up, just like, and then walks out. I was just like,
Mhm.
you're a boss, and I love you. Like, you're great. Just those scenes today were epic.
I think Eva's gonna end up coming out of this a little bit strong, the strongest out of all of them, just because of all the stuff that she's going through. Eventually, like we know that Ted is gonna set her up with an apartment. She'll
Hmm.
be able to get a job, whether it's hairstyling or whatever. And who knows? Maybe at some point, you know, things will blow over and Eva will be accepted as a Dupree woman because of the bloodline. But um, I what don't I don't know. I just really felt bad for her. But I love that Mona went directly to Leslie and been like, "Listen, you used me
Yep.
to
Yeah.
get Eva in, to get your plan into
Yeah.
effect, whatever." And
Oh, Mona was absolutely affected by all of
yeah,
this. She was the one who, was lied to from the jump by this woman who, like, approached her at church and was all just, and I loved her just calling her out on, like, where'd you get that dress? Why
yeah,
have you been lying to me? Just, because, like, she was directly, her reputation, she's never going to be able to, like, look at, like, with, like, by this family that she, like, has worked with forever and respects and admires and loves. They're never going to be able to look at her the same way because of all of this. And her just being able to say that and articulate that and just, oh, such good scenes.
oh, fantastic.
More
Yes,
Mona, please. Bring
Yeah.
it on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we also let's see what else did we see this week. It's basically been the fallout, but I like the conversation between Ted and Ava regarding what went on and how she's
Mhm.
like I never knew you. I wanted to get to know you,
Yeah.
and the thing is like he's like if I had known, I would have been taking care of you, but
Right.
he was under
Right.
the impression that she got an abortion. So it's
Right.
but I like how he said, I'm going to take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let my
And
daughter want or need for anything.
on the same, like, take care of your daughter. It's just, and take care of. I just loved seeing, Anita and Danny. Obviously, like, I love how everyone was saying that, like, they wish that she'd had that pistol on her when Leslie showed up at the house,
Yeah.
and, like, they keep on, like, hinting, like, well, there wasn't, it was in today's scenes where Anita was just like, and there wasn't any violence, and then you get this look from Danny in the background, just kind of like, eh. Like, she's
Yep.
just, but I love, just the protectiveness there, and I just love seeing, like, and the way that Anita was talking to Ted, though, and just saying, like, you're just a weak man, you're a coward,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
again, just like, yes, you are everything you are saying, like, 100%, yes, because she says, like, I'm most worried about the impact this is going to have on my grandchildren, and I'm
Yeah.
most, because I don't want a weak man raising. I was just like, oh my god, everything you're saying, yes, just dead on point. Such
I
good dialogue.
I liked how I liked kind of the other point of view from Vanessa, and Vanessa talking
Mm,
to Joey today, but also when she
yes.
was consoling Nicole, and she's
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
like, I feel like a hypocrite because I'm the you know, like I feel like such a hypocrite because I'm not the virtue of a perfect marriage or staying
Right.
loyal or whatever, and it
Yeah.
just you get that from you can have sympathy or empathy for your best friend, but
For
also
sure.
like you can't put your feet in her shoes because you're the one stepping out on your husband, whether they have an open marriage or whatever or if she's
Yeah.
actually cheating on him, whatever the case is, she's in a different situation. She's in like the complete opposite.
Right.
So I
It's just
really
nice.
liked how
Yeah.
they kind of went into that and broached that
Yeah.
subject. There's a lot of really good dialogue. It's just
And
absolutely fantastic.
it just doesn't give room for, because it's like, like, soaps that have been on for a long time, I used to always point it out, like, that character's being such a hypocrite right now, because,
Yep.
like, think about what they were doing years ago, and now they're up on their little high horse doing all this stuff. Now, granted, Beyond the Gates hasn't been around all that long, but we're not seeing, like, room for that. We're seeing these characters able to actually say, like, yes, I'm coming from a hypocritical place with this, and maybe that'll change down the road. Maybe it's because, like, writers just kind of, they forget that this character was like an evil, crazy person, and now all of a sudden they're whitewashed, or it's just lazy writing, or it's just whatever. But Beyond the Gates, they're fully, like, fleshing out these characters in such a way that we get to see, like, yeah, they have different sides, and they can acknowledge when, yes, I'm being a hypocrite. Yes, this is, like, my stance on this, but I also, and it just shows how well developed they are, and it just shows that the writing is there for them with the dialogue and everything. And it's not getting lazy. It's not getting to the point where it's just like, why are you up on your freaking high horse saying all this stuff when Lord knows what you've done and we don't acknowledge it?
You see, I kind of have a different of opinion on that one with a lot of it, because I mean, I've seen people go, how can that person be mad at somebody for cheating on their son when they cheated on somebody? Because no matter what you've done, you're going to be defensive of the people you love.
Of course.
Yeah.
And no matter what you've done, that doesn't mean you can't be hurt if something is done to you.
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean? So I kind of look at it more like that with a lot of it, but we all see it.
I don't know. It's just nice seeing, like, early stages where characters can actually admit, like, hey, yeah, I'm cheating, I'm stepping out of my marriage, but I can still empathize.
Right.
It's just seeing that layer still versus just like, characters just blindly, like, pontificating and going off, and it's just like, no, but wait a minute, you gotta chill out there, bud. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. All right. So speaking of Vanessa and Doug are in this weird, this weird little thing, and that's going to bring us into our what the fudge moment of the week. See, I kind of fixed the view for this week, so the bottom person is not fully cut off.
I appreciate that.
But the what the fudge moment of the week is Doug going into the casino, talking to Randy, saying, you know what, I'm going to do just that, and go home and not lose any money. And then as soon as Randy leaves, he goes right back to the table and throws out $100 bills to get into the game. And I really, it's like, I understand he's addicted to gambling at this point. It's an addiction, regardless. It's not illegal. It's not substance abuse, whatever, but it's still an addiction, and he's losing a lot of money on it. I mean, he's clearly owes money to Joey, but just the way that he had the conversation. First, it started at the hospital, where he's literally sitting there daydreaming of hands of cards and poker chips, and then goes there. Yeah. Randy tells him, "Oh, this girl Eva was here, and she did what you should do. She quit while she won a bit and quit while she was at." And he's like, "How much?" I can't tell you that. And then he's like, "You know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go home." They leave together, and then he kind of sneaks back in, looks around, makes sure Randy's gone.
It hurts to see it. It's just because it's just setting them up for just especially when you see Eva just, like, fully acknowledging, and she's just like, well, I can still, like, pay for dinner. I'm gonna get out while I'm ahead, or whatever it was that she said, and it's just like, you go, girl. That's the way I'd like to think I'd be handling it. But now that scene did hurt. It was definitely that was just kind of a painful little moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where you have to look at the situation, and the fact that Doug is trying. First of all, he's trying to save his marriage, but he can't perform surgeries because of his self-inflicted injury.
Yeah, like, Mister, I'm gonna smash my hand into something, even though I'm a freaking surgeon. Like, come on, dude. Like, He's just, we're just watching this character just spiral further and further, and it's just, it's upsetting to watch, especially when you had the moment too with Vanessa, when she actually, like, had ample opportunity to just be like, yep, I'm gonna go and hook up, and then she was just even like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna go and get into my own bed tonight. And it's just like she's like, I don't know if it was in the back of her brain because of like the cheating fallout or anything, just to not. But I was just like, you go, girl. Making the right choice, I suppose. Even though you and Joey Armstrong have got chemistry through the roof, I'm proud of you.
Yep.
But then you see Doug just have that setback, and it's just like, oh no, you poor man.
Yeah. I first of all, I mean, we've known it. John Lindstrom is fantastic. I like seeing a different side of him. He's not as evil as, as Ryan, but he's also got that dark side. Like he's playing what Sonny should be.
Oh,
Like, or what Sonny should
just
have
kind
been.
of this cool, controlled. I'm in control of the situation, and you guys don't f with me, but I'm not going to be like over the top and crazy about it. I'm just going to be like, this is just how it is. His just. You don't want to mess with the guy, but he's not like in your. You don't think that he's going to be that way, and then all of a sudden he'll just like say something or do something. It's just like, oh no, wait, no, you are actually like a bad dude.
But that was our What the Fudge
bag
moment of the week, brought to you by What the Fudge Homemade Confections. And that, if you're in the New Haven, Connecticut area and you are looking for some great fudge, go over to whatthefudgect.com or facebook.com/whatthefudgect and put in your order. Even if you're passing through and you could set up a time to meet in New Haven, it is a cottage kitchen, so unfortunately she's not able to ship per Connecticut law. If you're in the New Haven, Connecticut area or you're passing through, go ahead and hit up the website, see what flavors are being offered at that time, and put in the order and come up with a location where you can meet and get some great homemade fudge. It is fantastic. I could vouch for it. Angela could vouch for it. And we'll get Kim some fudge at some point. And then also, this week she's going to be she's going to be experimenting with a fudge cake, which is going to be a little personal cake. I think about 4 or 6 inches diameter. So be on the lookout for that. Again, New Haven, Connecticut area, whatthefudgect.com. All right. So being that I kind of like how everything is kind of coming together because you see different characters talking about the whole Ted and Nicole thing. You see Bill and Haley talking about it. You see Vanessa and Joey talking about it. Obviously, all the Duprees are, involved in the whole story. What's going to happen going forward now? You see how the kids are kind of distancing themselves from Ted, and Ted is kind of telling Leslie, like, stay away from the Duprees, stay
Yeah,
away from my wife.
I love how, that's just. It's almost like it's falling on. It's falling on deaf ears, and that it's just like Ted. But listen, she's not going anywhere. At least at this point, like there is still more stuff to unpack. Yeah, he's just. I don't know. When he was saying that to her today, I'm just like, I don't think that that's making any impact on her whatsoever. But go ahead, keep telling yourself that she's just gonna leave.
Yeah. And I think that Martin will probably still have smoke for his dad, but I think that Kat won't for long because she won't want to give Eva that opening.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that's going to be, I think she's going to, I'm daddy's girl.
Yep. I'm just so excited to kind of see that, rivalry, sister, half sister, separate, whatever the twist may be that comes with the two of them. I'm here for it. I mean, scenes when Kat confronted her, in just that whole those two actresses have such good, it was just off the charts. They were great, and I can't wait to see more of that. The rivalry and just the just it's so soapy and it's so fun, and
to put Tomas in the middle of them. First of all, I got to get your guys' opinion because people are, of course, Twitter being the toxic space it is, people are saying that Tomas is the one that should have been recast because apparently he doesn't know how to act.
I mean, he's decent to look at. I think that he's got some I think personally, romantic chemistry wise, he's got a little bit more of a spark. I think with Eva than with Kat. But with Kat, they're trying to sell like kind of the sweetness they were at least at one point, with the bracelet and all of that and everything. And
Right.
I think I do think it's interesting too. I kind of like that Tomas is kind of brought into Bill's sort of orbit with the whole like errand boy kind of deal. I think
Right.
that the actor has, I'm willing to kind of, I don't know, there's others on canvas who I could kind of part ways with right now and be cool with. I think with him, I'm willing to kind of give it more the benefit of the doubt, especially because I do see a spark between him and Ava that I like.
Right.
So, I kind of want to see if that shakes out a little bit more.
And I could really see this being like a really long running triangle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, like, really, really, like, it's, Kat's, that sweet girl and the girl that, he should want to be with and should fit, but he just can't stay away from the other one kind of
yeah.
thing. I totally see that
yeah.
being something that plays for like a long time.
Yeah, agreed.
Me too.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with Tomas. I can let that play for a little bit. Let's see how it goes. I just seeing him and kind of in the mix there. I just think
anything about anybody while Derek is still there. Just kind of just
Derek could, in my opinion, I think Ashley could have a golden retriever, and we would kind of get the similar sort of effect that we do with Derek. He could have, the golden retriever could have been the one to help bring in the after the fight.
He's
he could just be running around.
It's just the man is mayonnaise.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, unless they really kind of. Because at least with Tomas, they've kind of got him ingrained in multiple sort of things, and they're letting it kind of him play a little bit more. I think if they want, keep Derek around, fine, but you gotta give him more depth. You gotta give him some more. Just you gotta do something else with him.
So Chad brings this up.
That power.
so Chad brings this up that Joey mentioned that he has a grown child. Do you think it's Ashley? Do you think Ashley is Joey's daughter?
I hope so. Twine her in. If
because
she's gonna be,
she's also bordering on mayonnaise.
Yeah,
she has that spark with Andre, but it's like she wants to be boring. I'm like, it gets you a little bit more.
Could be kind of interesting too, especially if because we've got Joey obviously with Doug and the whole hospital thing. And we're probably going to be calling in weird favors, like, I don't know, you're going to go get this guy's kidney for me or something like that.
I know, right?
Like down the road. But you've got a daughter who's a nurse who is ingrained in that hospital too. That could make for some interesting stuff. Like her and Doug having the kind of work that, let Ashley kind of have that beside, because, right now it's just like they're off on their own little island. And it's not helping anybody. It's like, it's not helping their cause. They really need to get, aside from the friend group, which frankly, those scenes don't really do it for me all that much. It's like, let them get more ingrained. Otherwise, find something else, because it's just like, they're just, I would be really happy if they decided to go that route with Ashley. I just feel like that could, be pretty cool down the road stuff.
I think what might end up happening.
And another layer for Joey too.
Well, we're seeing a lot, obviously, of Andre and Danny, and they're possibly wanting to go public, and
which they should, because I freaking love them. They're great. In like all the incarnations that we've had of them so far. I mean, I know that they were teasing the Andre, and Ashley thing, which okay, fine. But I don't know. I just feel like they haven't explored that in a while, but they're really leaning more into, him and Danny now. And you still got that room with, obviously with Nicole and her connection. It's like, let that play. Because I want to see some shakeout from that, especially because I just like the chemistry between Danny and Andre so much.
Yeah, I think have to give it to Carla most. What?
Chad's comment.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Derek
He's
is
not that
oh.
bad. He's not home. Now you're making me feel bad for the guy. Jeez.
I don't know. I think that Derek up against like we could have had Golden Retriever versus the cat.
Yeah.
Could add some little animal scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Derek is just I agree. Derek is just the human meh emoji. But anyways, let's see. Andre and Danny, I think they have Carla Mosley has chemistry with a lot of
Oh yeah, no, she could be in a scene with a potted plant and still make it work. I mean, she's amazing. I forget her comedic timing too. Like just the little looks that she'll give off, or just a little. I mean, I freaking love her, and every line delivery that you get from her, it's just like, she's amazing.
I can't wait to see more scenes with her and Katie, at Pamela, setting up the the modeling agency.
Yes. I love their exchange. It's just the most recent with the little photo shoot that they did. I'm just like, yes, this is fun. Like, let them be best. And when she even hinted, I think it was Katie who said on social media that it's kind of an inspiration, like Erica and Opal's friendship on All My Children. I was like, yes, okay, good. Bring that energy. Just I can't wait to see more scenes with the two of them. Because there's room to play there. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of that. I like how I kind of like how Chelsea and Kat have been, talking about doing their fashion designing and their purse designing, and they're actually going with real life situations. Like there's a lot of realness to starting and launching a business. I like, and I know we mentioned it last week, but I really liked how Chelsea had to be reminded to turn off the live stream when Leslie was doing her thing. Like,
that's just going to become like a running theme. Every big, turn off the camera, stop the live stream.
Different people tell her every time.
Exactly.
Who's on live stream duty? Who's on live stream?
That's an interesting thread for sure too. And it could be kind of cool even because you've got this kind of design business kind of starting around the same time as this modeling agency. I wonder if there's room for competition or working together, or just those two worlds kind of colliding in such a way, mother daughter kind of. It just, I don't know, there's a lot of room there. And I want to see how that's going to play out.
They're going to end up working together at some point, not necessarily in the same company, but collaborating.
Models holding purses.
Yeah,
strutting down the runway with their bags.
Exactly. Yeah. I have to say I really like the scene this week. Being the Beyond the Gate's only been on 3 episodes for the past 2 weeks. It's there's a lot they're trying to pack in, but there's only so much we can talk about. I like Chelsea kind of going over to Vernon and Anita's and just kind of talking, and it kind of brings up the hurt from Bill again, and being like, finding out that Bill helped Ted get away with it, and then it brings up the hurt all over again, because here's
it just shows the ripple effect of that betrayal, how it just because of course Bill gets sucked into it, and then it's all those feelings come flooding back. Forget just not too long ago, the whole revelation, everything happened with Danny, with Haley, and now this, and it's definitely. And I just like seeing, the generational sort of Anita, her going to the grandparents, her going to Vernon, and having that familial sort of just. I love that so much.
I do too.
How they just go to them for the advice, and just needing to get the reality check and hear stuff. It just that's great. That's just so soapy and nice and refreshing.
It really is. Just absolute fantastic in general. The shows are freaking awesome. You know, this is their first. Sweeps. You know, their first sweeps month that they're really going through, and
Yeah,
I think it's going absolutely fantastic.
definitely.
The writing is
Especially
great.
with the short weeks. They're still,
Yeah.
that's hard for sweeps too.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. They're going strong. I will say that.
Yep.
Um, but I think we've kind of covered
And it
just
was just
about
so
everything.
funny seeing, just really quick, was funny
Yeah.
seeing, because I'm also a Law and Order, as Law and Order junkie, SVU, OC, all that. Seeing Tamara Tooney, I was like, Nita, no wait, no, it's Warner. No, she's on. It was just like it was so funny just seeing her, pop back up on OC this past. I was just like, oh gosh, I just freaking love you.
Oh, I
You're
have to tell
great.
you something after we get off air that you're gonna really like. That you're gonna find
All
fun.
right.
Yeah. Well, folks, we've got 67 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button, and then subscribe to our network, and definitely turn on that notification bell. So anytime something comes up on whether it's soap operas or wrestling, you will get notified. I do want to let everybody know I did mention it on Suds News, but coming up on Friday, May 30th, is going to be our very first Suds Media Premium Live event here on many of these same networks. We're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing the Sudsy nomination special. We'll be announcing the nominees for all the categories of the Sudsy Awards coming up, both wrestling and soap operas again. And then on Friday night, August 1st, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Friday night, August 1st, will be our next premium live event, which will be the live Sudsy Awards at 8 p.m. Um, and we've got a multitude of people already signed up to be presenters. Obviously, not only us, but also Matt and Kat from the 10th floor. Our old co-host on Suds News, Christy, said that she will be a presenter again this year. We've also got John Anthony from Chairshot Sports. We've got Jess from from the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker. Mike from the Run-In podcast, and Michael and his co-host from the Kicking Out at 2 podcast. So we're getting quite a bit of people that are signing up, and we'll keep everybody posted. Stay tuned to our @Suds Media on Twitter feed for all the late breaking news regarding the Sudsy Awards this year. Everybody will be able to vote for the entire month of June, from June 1st to June 30th, on a Google Doc or Google form, I should say, like we did last year. So stay tuned for everything Sudsies coming up in the next few weeks. But our kicks off with our first premium live event on Friday night, May 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern, on, like I said, on many of these same channels, for the Sudsies nomination special. But yeah, so we've gone over as much as we can, I believe. I don't think there was much else that we have to go over.
We covered everything. Yeah.
We pretty much covered everything. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, especially with the new Ted starting this week.
Yeah.
I feel like, the scene with Ted and Bill this week we didn't touch on, but Bill basically told him, "Why didn't you call me?" And as if to say, she came back into town. Why wasn't I your first call?
Yeah. Previous fixer, with,
Yeah.
you'd think that, it would have kind of, but.
And Chad even said we're
you,
going to be seeing fallout of this play for a long time. So it is. It's going to be a great fallout. It's really the first major secret that came out. We still have another one with Martin that'll be coming out. I don't know. I don't know when that'll come out. But either way, folks, just enjoy the show. Congratulations.
Yeah, by the way, we're on board, and we got another year. So.
Congratulations Beyond the Gates for getting a year number 2 contract. And you know what? I got to bring this up. Somebody on Twitter said, "Well, if they get canceled, it's because of all of the products that are in the scenes like Tide and Febreze, and I'm like,
Sorry, Nicole using the Febreze is basically
Procter & Gamble.
staging the space after. I'm all for it. That's her stage stick, that's her cleansing the space and just I appreciate that. I'm gonna go out and get some Febreze now.
Yeah, no, they're going to be
we
around.
could all use a little of that energy.
I had no doubt they were reviewed. I know people were worried, but I'm like, they have put way too much into this, and they're not floundering.
And
anybody who's like, oh, they had so many viewers, and then they felt nobody expected them to maintain what they. That's stop it, not you guys.
Well, I guess the panic started because Daphne Duprees and Trisha Van Grant did an Instagram live, and they were talking and urging people to support Beyond the Gates and this and that.
You're trying to get people to just watch your show. It's not necessarily like we are in dire straits and we need.
Right.
Yeah.
I was saying, come on, check out what we're doing.
There was never any fear of cancellation. So,
not that
it was just a matter of like.
They put too much into it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, folks, we are out of time. Hopefully, you guys have a great week. We'll be back next Monday with Suds News and then Gate Crashers as well, as always. Angela, where can everybody find you?
PettyProduct.com, Brooklyn74 on Twitter, on Instagram, Angela Ryan Duncan everywhere. Parade.com. Wrote 6 articles today. Check them out. I tried to put them in the chat, but it wouldn't let me post links, but that's okay. Spoiler articles, they're all on my Twitter. I did the soaps coming and goings, all the spoiler articles for the week for each of the soaps, so check them out if you want to know what's coming up, and more coming your way.
And Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I'm Misfit8690 on Twitter and a Little Misfit52 on YouTube. And as Chad mentioned, I got a couple of fan vids there, and also just, in general, just we get some streams from, the podcasts and stuff that come through there as well. So feel free to check out that channel as well as my Twitter if you want to hit me up and chat about soaps or whatever your little heart desires.
Perfect. And as always, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter, Vinny Suds, and also on Twitter at Suds Media, which is for the main network. And then suds-media.com for all the current information when it comes to Suds and Squared Circle Media. Also, remember all the RSS, all the shows for the podcast part of it, they go through the same RSS feed now. It's all Suds and Squared Circle Media. So make sure to subscribe to that and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and leave comments. Leave comments, react to comments, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because it all helps with the algorithm. But either way, for Angela and Kim, I'm Vinny. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you hated the show, tell an enemy. But have a great week, everybody. We will be back next week as we crash through the gates of Fairmount Road. Have a great week, everybody.